working, so I'm just going to project. My name is Samah Ali. I am a senior programmer, and I'm really having the honor right now to be the moderator for this conversation. If everybody can just say their name and their affiliation with the film, that would be amazing. Let's pretend like the mic is going to be working. So let's use the mic.
I'm Marie Margolis. I'm the director of Ayanda. Sada. I'm Sada, Sheriff Sada, player on the screen.
Hi, my name is Krishna. I'm also the player on the screen.
I'm John Hoffman, one of the co-directors of The Barber of Little Rock.
Daniel Lombroso, the director of Nina and Irena.
Yes, it's gonna. So this is a block all about new beginnings, and as we know, it is very difficult to start things. Whether it's a blank page, oh, we got the mic working. Whether it's a blank page or a blank assemble on a film. So for my creative teams, the director and producers, what was it like beginning this movie?
Well, I called my grandmother and she said no. And I said please and she said no, and then I tried again and she said yes. You know, the generation that survived the Holocaust is... The generation that survived the Holocaust is disappearing very quickly. We're talking about the next 5-10 years, and you know, in this moment of where there's really just been an explosion in anti-Semitism, you know, dating to the Trump years, and you know, more recently, you know, I've spent years covering extremism in the far right. My first feature film is about the rise of the alt-right, and I spent 4 years embedded with white nationalists and neo-Nazis, and I never had any aspiration to make a personal film, but my grandmother was just a huge presence in my life, and I felt like the world needed to hear from her. And so I called her, and she invited me and Devin over, and we made the film.
John?
We had some really generous foundation funders who asked us to look at this problem of the racial wealth gap in this country, and Christine and I put together a wonderful team. I just put first shout out to our amazing editors, Virginie Danglade and Andrew Saunderson, who are here. And when you start looking at the racial wealth gap and the history of black banking in this country, there's a remarkable book called The Color of Money by a woman named Mirza Baradara, who chronicles how it's just a history of failure after failure in this country of policies to help black communities obtain any kind of equality. But she points out one program that the feds created under Clinton, which is the creation of this fund of money that the Fed administers, about $10 billion a year, which is these community development financial institutions. And it is the only thing that people can point to as a solution to this problem. And so we connected with the first administrator under Clinton, a remarkable woman named Donna Gambrell, and we asked her if we want to embed in a CDFI, where would you go? And she said, you have to meet Arlo Washington. And we heard about Arlo and talked to him and found out that his bank, his loan fund was run out of a shipping container in the parking lot of his barber college. It was all started coming together. So that's the history of how we found Arlo.
The beginning of Ayanda started when the Taliban took over, or even before that, the U.S. started to withdraw earlier that summer. And I think all of us in the U.S. were trying to understand what was happening and what our role was. And I, as a lifelong soccer player, had sort of caught on to this story of the senior national soccer team escaping to Australia. And I just kind of got myself embedded in this world of people who were orchestrating evacuations. And I found out about the effort to get the girls out about a month before they actually got out, and so was in contact with the folks who were leading the operation. And about 48 hours before they landed in Portugal, I got a call that telling me it was safe to finally start to tell their story, and if I was still interested, that I should come to Portugal and meet them. And so I did. That the last scene of the film when the girls meet Farkunda in person for the first time was my, I think, second day of filming. So the beginning of the process for me was really like, I flew in with a camera pretty oblivious to what had happened over the course of their lives the previous 30 days because it was so dangerous. There was no way for me to know. And so the first couple weeks of filming with them, it was really just like capturing every moment that I could. And with the help of some folks in the audience, Javed and Mitra, who worked on the film with me, started to understand what I was actually capturing. But I think the most important part of the beginning of the journey for me was getting to know these guys. And we talked about it this morning at breakfast. Like, so much of what made the film successful was that at the very beginning, we trusted each other and we got to know each other and found common ground in our love of soccer and films and sense of humor. And so, yeah, that was the beginning. And it was a 2-year process. And now here they are in New York. It was like a dream come true.
Let's hear from the girls. What was this process like for you, being in a movie?
Basically, we just want to show the reality. So I hope that all you guys that watch this movie or everyone that watch this movie, they know the courage of women, Afghan women. They know the goals of Afghan women. You know, the goals of Afghan women is not to stay at home or raise the children. The Afghan women, we want to have equal rights like the another humans. We want to have equal opportunities to grow. Yeah, I just want to.
Hello to everyone. Basically, I want to say first, like, you know, when I met Marie, when I was in Afghanistan, the journey, that part-time, you know, it was about like 1 month. And then so many things happened. It was like, you know, I burned in war among the explosions, so that was a normal thing for me. But that thing that the Taliban are in the city and we have to trust them as a policeman after a while, like when we are getting live there. So it was unbelievable for me. And then I was like, okay, so there was a hope that we could get out of the country. And I was there, I was watching what's happening to me, to my pupil, to the pupil life, to the human, to my friends. And then I was like, okay, so we have to tell this by book, by film, anything, but the people of the world must see the reality, what is going on there, how the people are reacting. You know, that was very, you know, people was terrified, and me too, but you know, the real thing, it wasn't the Taliban, it was now, you know, the girls cannot go to school there. They are deprived from their basic rights, and that was what I was afraid and my friends are afraid of, you know. So we went to there and the basic went, so we start filming. I was like, okay, let's say the truth. We are the truth. You see me, my friends, we are this, not that one you watch in the media, in the TV. We are not the one who stay at home, raise the children, I don't know, wash the dishes. We are not that one. We weren't that one. My mom had no choice because of this. She stayed just a housewife, okay? And she raised me and told me that go on and you have the chance and tell the truth for the world. And I want to ask you guys to educate yourself by watching this movie. And the only thing that you can do is that educate the people who are around you. Tell them our story and tell them and force them to recognize us as this face that you're looking right now. It is me, my friend, and my friend in Afghanistan. That we are all the same, with the same goals, with the same hopes, and with the same thought. Nothing more. That was it.
I want to open up to audience questions. Do we have any thoughts, anything you want to ask our lovely folks on stage? Quiet bunch. Nobody wants to raise their hand? Okay. So, new beginnings. One of the most important things about many of the learnings of these documentaries is the importance of second chances. So what did you learn about taking hold of that second chance and making it new with it? John, do you want to start with you?
It's a great question. I mean, I think that what I see in Arlo, and I hope that you felt, is that Arlo believes that everyone that whose life he can touch, he can provide them that second chance. And Arlo, the experience of being around him is that if he just walks into the parking lot of the Barber College or one of the loan funds, it's just this endless river of need that is coming at him. It is people pulling to that parking lot, and he can't walk 20 feet without somebody else coming up to him and saying, hey Arlo man, can you help me out? And him just taking them into the shipping container, and it's all about those second chances. But it's just that the need is so great in the Black community in Little Rock, and obviously in many other parts of the country. And so it's just this ever-ending opportunity and need that has to be filled. And so, we're talking about a community that has just been systemically cut out of the financial system. And so the second chances of getting that small dollar loan that can transform their lives. So it's just all about second chances. So,
Daniel?
Well, my grandmother lost everyone, 25 family members, her sister. Very few of us ever took the time to ask questions about what happened, and I think that's a familiar story for many people. It's rare to, unfortunately, to sit down with your parents and grandparents and ask them about their lives. And she was silent for most of her life, for 80 years. Her sister disappeared 80 years ago, basically to the month. And, she has this amazing resilience that I think makes the film special, where she doesn't want anyone's sympathy. She never asked us to pay attention to her. She never even told my grandfather about her story. Of course, he knew she was a survivor. We all knew she was a survivor, but he never knew what happened. And to your question, the second chance is the rebuilding. That she came to America in 1951. My grandfather flipped a coin and won the coin toss and went up to her at Breton Beach, Coney Island. And they started a family together. That was her kind of rebellion, is having 2 kids. And I just learned that my uncle who's in the movie, which is crazy.
high school together.
I found that out like 6 minutes ago, so I'm still recovering from that. And 6 grandkids and 5 great grandkids, and hopefully more on the way. And my grandmother's 91, and we're in this, scary, important moment. So we're bringing the film on the road. We just went to Los Angeles, me and my grandmother. She got on a plane for the first time in 7 years. And we presented the film at the Museum of Tolerance. And it comes out this Wednesday. And it's going to come out in the New Yorker. And it will come out with an educational guide to teach the Holocaust to students. So it's going to be totally free to download, and any educator could use it.
Thank you for sharing that, Renee.
Yep.
Second chances.
What did I learn about second chances? So, I think these guys have taught me a lot, but a lot about the refugee experience. Like, at the beginning of making this film, I think I saw it as this kind of rosy story, like, oh my gosh, they have this second chance, they get a new beginning, and how amazing they got out. And I think what I've learned is that, you can hear the frustration and sadness and anger in Sadaf and Frishta's voices. Like, it's not that. It's hard, and it's sad, and they want to be in Afghanistan. They don't want to be in Portugal. They're making the best of it, and they're grateful for it. But I think just understanding that new beginnings are great, and there's a lot to be grateful for, and they are, but I think the fact that they're in this position in the first place, and that all of these stories are, all of the protagonists are in the position that they're in, is like something to think about how we got here, so I think that's what I learned.
Let's pass it to the girls real quick. What does your new life look like in Portugal? Anything that...
What is your life like in Portugal? Isn't it easy to think
Actually, basically, I think that immigration is difficult to anywhere. like like I'm doing my parents' job because I have 4 siblings that I need to care of them. So it's hard, but I'm doing my parents' job, and for example, I need to I'm working and I'm playing football, but it's hard. So I'm trying to be the best.
And about being a refugee, a young refugee, how it looks like. Okay, so tell me, let me explain it like this. So after a while, you will lose your whole life. Like, it doesn't matter 15 years old or 16 years old, how long you are, like. And then everything with no connection, no relatives, no friends. You find yourself in a new culture, new country, new people, new language, and you have to be equal than them. No one care about your background, where you come from, where are you from, how was your life before, how was right now, what you should be equal, like in school, in work, you should be healthy, you should be like happy, satisfied for what you have, and you should try the same thing, even better sometimes than the other normal people. And then at the end of the day, they will ask you to smile on their face. What do you think? It is easy, like, to solve with yourself what is passing in your country and your life. You know, it's a kind of condition that you're between the past and the future. You don't know about the future, what's gonna happen, but you know about the past, that you lost. And it is difficult, it is hard. You know, I'm trying to find the words to explain it, but it's impossible. You should be there, you should be experienced. And you know what? You have a more responsibility to tell, you know. I feel, you know, I'm living in Portugal. I have to do the taste. I have to learn the language. I have to speak. I have to be healthy, present in the school, in the class. I have to do my parents' job too. As Frishta said, you know, my parents don't know the language. So I'm the only one who knows the language. So I have to take care of my siblings who are younger than me. I have to take care of my parents who are older than me. I have to go to, you know, right now I know how to make a bank account, how to make a contract, house contract, how to make a contract of the gas, electricity, Wi-Fi. I know all of them. I know how to go to school with my siblings, take care of them there. And you know, this all, it is not something normal for us. It's all difficult. And then you have to take care of your friends in Afghanistan too. You have to try to be their voice. You have to try to find a way to help them. And you know, these are all difficult. You know, I was really happy, maybe, like, to tell you that I'm fine. I'm in a paradise. I'm like, you know, I have such a nice life and I'm happy. But you know, that's not the truth. And you know, we have to have courage to tell the truth. We have to have the courage. And if you cannot hear these things from the others, I think that they don't have the courage. They just will say that, okay, they cannot help me, so I have to tell the truth. And that is it.
Thank you for sharing. Do we have one last audience question?